All right, so today I'm walking you through my full strategy, my full entry models. These are A+ high probability setups that I look for every day and that you will have every day on the 5-minute time frame. You can find them 1, 2, or 3 times a day. So I'm walking you through my full checklist, looking at strong areas of support and resistance, and looking, of course, at confirmation on the footprint chart. So this is going to bring together all of the information that I've been sharing in my previous videos. I'm going to walk you through the checklist that I need. Every one of these points need to be checked before I enter a trade. So I'll be walking you through this example here, but also some other examples from my Telegram group here, which isn't open yet, but I'm collecting some data here, and also from my personal journal. So that way you'll have plenty of examples here that I can walk you through so you can really understand what a good trade, a high probability setup looks like visually, okay? So we'll get right into the checklist first. So the first step, you need to identify a strong area of confluence. If you haven't seen my previous video on technical analysis, support and resistance, you absolutely have to watch that. In this example here, we had a PPPOC, a previous week POC, and a PPVAL, value area low from the previous day, and a strong Fibonacci golden zone as well. So that was a very strong level, but of course we don't take a trade randomly from there. We need more confirmation. We need aggression failing at POI, aggression failing at point of interest. In this case, I want to see some strong sellers here. I want to see some aggressive sellers, some market sellers failing to drive price to the downside. They're failing to do so even though you have a lot of sellers in this area, right? Then you want to see opposite side response, meaning in this case we want to see some buyers here now, some aggressive buyers on the delta. I want to see more buyers here than I had in this area, meaning that now buyers are really interested in pushing this and being efficient at breaking some levels here, seeing some engulfing candles, for example. Then I want to see a momentum wave. This is a momentum indicator here, such as an RSI, a MACD. This one is called the squeeze momentum. You can find it on TradingView or here on Addis. Essentially, I need one of these waves here for a long. I need a red wave below the zero line. I'm not longing if a momentum wave is above the zero line and vice versa, okay? And then target not taken, meaning let's say I have a potential entry in this area, but I missed it, and now I try to have a limit order when we retested, but maybe we went here already. Let's say that was my target. If I missed my entry here and we went all the way up there, and now I keep my limit buy order here, no, because maybe the business has been done in this area, so now my high probability is not such a high probability anymore because the move has happened already, okay? You understand that? I think that's pretty clear. But the most important points are going to be the first 4 points. This one just is something that you need to keep in mind, okay? So walking you through this first trade here, then we'll get into the Telegram examples, and then we'll get into as well other trades. I think these are trades from February actually. Okay, let's zoom in. So first we have our strong area of support here. We've been through that. Then what did I see on the footprint chart? And looking here at the volume and the delta. So as we're coming down here, we're seeing some strong buyers already in this area, but they're failing at this point. We see some strong sellers here, minus 81. You always compare the numbers to the previous candles. Minus 81 is the strongest negative delta we've seen in the previous few candles, okay? This is important. You see minus 52, minus 35, and here you have the strongest negative delta in this area, failing to drive price to the downside. Okay, and you can see already some buying interest. We had 69 here, which was pretty strong, and they failed to drive price to the upside. Here we had 39, 34, but here although they're still failing at this point because we went down 56, 85, you're thinking, okay, there's some buying interest in this area. I'm not going to long right now. I need to see a bit more. Now we see a wick here, which is visually interesting. We see not huge sellers, but all we see is red down here. In this wick, we have minus 42, minus 26, minus 28. This is all sellers at the bottom of this wick here, failing to drive price to the downside, okay? And then what do we see? Some more buyers entering. Again, not quite efficient just yet, but look at the delta on this candle right here. Plus 100 positive delta. Again, you compare to the previous candles, 78, 5, 42, here was all negative delta, 40 up there, but this was a lot earlier, somewhere up there. We had 132 positive delta. Obviously, they failed to drive price to the upside, but 100 is the highest we've seen here in the last, 10 candles, okay? So the buyers are waking up, so to speak, okay? They're showing it interest. You're not the only person looking to long this level now. So you have your two confirmations, right? You have strong sellers failing in this area, okay? And you have the buyers now starting to show interest, okay? So I saw now this candle was closing below all of these candles and all of these sellers down here, right? We closed above them and we closed above these buyers. So these buyers are no longer underwater. These buyers are still in the market most likely. They haven't been stopped out. They're still in the market and we're closing above them and above these sellers, okay? Now, what do I see on the momentum wave? I see a deep red momentum wave. So this is showing me that this move is quite extended, and also it's showing me that I'm entering in an area where there's been a strong enough pullback. Again, if I had entered on a small momentum wave like this, for example, well, maybe the pullback wasn't strong enough. You can see here, this failed, for example. I don't need the momentum wave to be that deep necessarily. This was a very deep momentum wave, but I need to see, I need to see a strong retracement, and these momentum waves are really going to filter for me a lot of bad trades, a lot of trades that I'm tempted in taking because I have a decent level and I'm seeing some decent confirmations on the footprint. But if it's a tiny, you'll see that often you'll have some decent levels and some decent confirmations on the footprint chart, but the momentum wave is either not even for a long in the red yet, it might still be a green coming down, or it's just not very deep into the red zone, okay, below the zero line, okay? So this is just going to confirm to you that you've got enough of a pullback, okay, because we've had a green wave go down, and now we're going deep into the pullback, and the red wave is now deep enough that you can think, okay, we have now momentum potentially to go back to the upside. It's going to filter, it's very important because it's going to filter a lot of bad trades for you, okay? Or just less high probability setups. You're going to miss some good setups probably, but the ones that you're going to take are going to be higher probability because the momentum is now ready to go back up, okay? So this was one example. Let me keep the check. We've been through all the checklist. Obviously, we entered perfectly here, right? So I had a limit order, just to be clear here. You could enter here, that's fine, but I always like to have a limit order a bit lower here where the absorption occurred. These shorts were in this area, these buyers were in this area. It just gives me a better entry and a better risk to reward. If you want to enter from here, that's fine. Also, I don't like to click a market order most of the time, although I do at times, because not only am I entering at the top of this candle, but I'm getting probably with the market order not a great entry because I'm not going to get the entry right at where I click it. I'm going to get an entry probably a bit higher. So already your risk to reward, instead of having a nice buy limit order a bit lower, I'm now getting an entry a lot higher, right? So this is quite important to me. But, we're just focusing on the strategy for now, not necessarily the perfect entry. Okay, now I'm walking you through actually a couple trades from yesterday. Let's look at the Telegram here. So I'm going to share, it's free by the way, and it's just just one member. It's just me at the moment, because I just want to collect as much data as possible. And essentially what I'm doing here is doing some technical analysis in the morning. I share a video of my technical analysis, and then I share my trades lives and my points of interest as they develop during the day. And then I just give you also my my trade management when I am in a trade, okay? So let's look at this. So as price was coming, I took a trade here in this area. We had some strong confluence, as you can see. I was not liking what the order flow was doing. The buyers were not stepping in, so I closed at break even, managed the trade immediately. Here, as we broke below, I was sharing my other points of interest for the session. This one got broken through, but we can watch what happened on the next one. Well, this is the first trade I just showed you. We've been through that one already, which turned out being a win. By the way, I didn't share the trade when it was already in profit. I actually shared the trade when I was just entered, and I was a little bit in drawdown here. So this is what we were looking at. We hit our target. Looking at the next trade of that day, what do we have? I don't know if you can I zoom in? I don't know if I can zoom in here, but we'll look at plenty of other trades. We have 60 positive delta, 50 positive delta, 28, 27 in these clusters. We have a previous day value area low. We have session VWAP. 0204 value area high, 0104 value area high. So plus 77 positive delta. Price goes up, but we close below all of these buyers here. We're starting to see some selling interest, minus 77, minus 47 in this area. And then what do we have? Minus 85 negative delta, and they're being efficient with this candle right here, closing below this small range here, okay? So high negative delta. And again, I get these perfect entries. Sometimes they're not, I miss them because I'm a little bit greedy, so to speak, on my entry, but I want a little pullback on the next candle, okay? So again, I didn't enter on the close of that candle. I got a beautiful entry. Actually, I got filled. I was lucky because maybe that wick wasn't going to go into my sell limit order, but it got hit, and that was a pretty fast TP. As you can see, as my trade is in profit, as we were coming down, I saw that we got really close to my TP down here. So I shared live that my SL was now at the top of that 5-minute candle. And we retraced a little bit, but we didn't hit the stop loss in profit here. We actually got our full TP, okay? Did I show you the momentum wave as well on that trade? That was the first one. No, this is it as well. Wait, no, this was a short, right? So now we can't see the momentum. Well, you have an idea here. You can see on the left. Oh, that's too bad because we have actually a divergence on the momentum wave. So I think that previously it went up, and then you can see the momentum is coming down from a higher momentum wave, and here we're having a lower momentum wave with higher price. It's not a necessary thing that I need to have the divergence, but it was a nice double confirmation. This is a video from this morning's technical analysis. So we're done with the Telegram stuff. Now let's look at the journal here. I think so. These are trades, I believe, from early in March or maybe February. So here you have it zoomed out. You can see what price action looked like. Here we had a order block here. So this was a part of my Confluence in this case. We had what I call an order block. It's an area where a lot of sellers stepped in and where a lot of buyers, we're going to zoom into the candle, you'll see in a second, but where a lot of buyers failed to drive price to the upside or they were absorbed, all right? So this was one Confluence, and the other one was this general area with a PPVAH and a PPPOC, and we had, as you can see, not a big momentum wave, to be fair, but it was a momentum wave to the upside. We were above the zero line, and we were within a strong downtrend. So I was satisfied with that. Now, if we zoom in, we can see my order block, my area, which I would call an area of supply. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's an area where a lot of sellers stepped in earlier that session, and a lot of buyers failed. We can zoom in here. Minus 221, minus 66, minus 63, minus 49, negative delta stacked above each other within these clusters, and minus 89 at the high of this candle, which in itself was a pretty decent setup maybe to take. But the highest probability for me was the retest here within that strong downtrend. Look, it's very important to have that momentum wave above the zero line, okay? And as you can see, more confirmation, plus 129 positive delta right at the top of this candle. Then we can see that some aggressive sellers find interest. Look at the delta down here on that candle, minus 124. Earlier, we had some pretty strong negative delta, but that was on that move here. On the move to the upside, we didn't have a lot of negative delta, and this is on this candle that the sellers started showing interest again, minus 124 versus minus 20, minus 25 in these previous candles here. And then more confirmation, minus 70 again, fairly high within the context. And we break below. We had also these EMAs here, the 9 and the 20 EMA. We broke below them, and we broke below PPPOC and PPVAH, okay? So you got your confluences, 1, 2 levels. You got another confluence, which would be that area of supply here where there was a lot of selling interest. You have your momentum wave going above the zero line, so giving us potential momentum to the downside. And you have your bearish delta. And by the way, yeah, I should say, another 92 positive delta here entered and failed to drive price to the upside. And as you can see on this candle, we retest exactly this area of absorption. That's why I had my sell limit order here. I don't get these perfect entries every time, guys. I don't want to sell you like, I'm the perfect trader. But it's true that the reason why I have a sell limit order, I wanted to retest. I want to get a better entry than just down at this candle here. I want to retest this level here, and I want to retest this area where these 92 positive delta failed and got absorbed here, okay? And as you can see, if you really want to zoom in, my entry is not exactly within this area. It's a little bit below because I don't want to be too greedy. Sometimes, you're not going to wick into it. It's a bit risky because sometimes you're just going to fail your entry. It happens to me sometimes, of course, but I like to have this better risk to reward and this better entry. If I don't get it, that's fine. I'll get another setup or two during the day, okay? Moving on to another trade, a loss. I'm happy that we're getting a loss here, so you can see that sometimes it doesn't work. Here, these levels, the screenshot is wrong because we don't have the name of the levels, but it was the same day. This was the day that win that I just shared with you. Then we had a very strong momentum wave and a divergence. So you can see what a divergence looks like on these momentum waves, very similar to MACD divergence or RSI divergence. It doesn't matter to me, but it was a little extra interesting thing, which turned out not working out, so that's fine. But so yeah, we had a first big momentum wave here, no strong reaction, and now here at a strong level of confluence, we have a Fibonacci golden zone. This was a previous day point of control, I believe. And what else did we have? Well, yeah, there's just 2 levels of confluence. Maybe that trade wasn't ideal in itself, right? I was interested still that we were in a downtrend, and on the higher time frame, we were still in a downtrend. But this looked like maybe a true reversal here. So not a great trade, but I had to give it a try because I also had my confirmations on the order flow. Look at this. No regrets at all on this trade. 94.74 here in that wick at our area of interest. Huge sellers here. As you can see, again, sell limit order just below, not right into that box, but below that cluster here, which these huge sellers. I mean, zero regrets on that trade. Unfortunately, we didn't have any follow through. Look at the delta, minus 414 negative delta, which within a session like this, that's huge. That's more like we're here during the London session. These are more like New York kind of numbers, right? So very good trade in my point of view. As you can see, my stop loss was not at the highs because I thought, listen, if after these amount of sellers, we start closing above these guys, it's not looking good, right? So my stop loss was here rather than here, so I'm risking less, okay? But, oh yeah, there you go for the Confluence. Oh, sorry, guys. So you actually have the levels. Previous day point of control, yeah, that's what it was, and a golden pocket, golden zone Fibonacci. Okay, that's it for this trade. This was a loss. Now here, what do we have? Previous day point of control, previous day high. So we took the highs of the previous day. That's good because it's a different kind of example, different kind of a level. It's not a volume-based level. It's just a previous day high. They can be very powerful in Confluence. We have two levels, which by the way, it's the minimum, right? Two levels of Confluence. I prefer to have three, but I like what I was seeing here. Look at these momentum waves getting smaller and smaller here. So you're getting some divergences, and we're closing below previous day high and previous day point of control. This is a very nice setup. Now let's look at the footprint chart here. Classic, plus 62, plus 52, high positive delta at the highs here at the previous day high, failing to drive price to the upside. We have a retest. Now we're not seeing a lot of buyers actually, so we have what you would call exhaustion, right? The buyers aren't that interested anymore. And then as we break below the previous day high in the POC here, and as we get our divergence on the momentum waves, we're starting to see some more sellers. We had some interest, 40, 36, not huge, but we had some interest. And now we get minus 68 here on the delta, which is not huge to be fair. But again, minus 68 compared to what we had in the previous deltas, minus 35, 33, 50, 11, 38. So in the last 10, 15 candles, minus 68 within the context, you always look at these numbers within the context, it's fairly strong, right? It's certainly double than what we had before here. It's above the 50 that we had before. But again, the minus 50 was within this area, right? So already here in this candle, we had some selling interest that we hadn't seen before. It was a first clue, so to speak, and now we had minus 68. We had a nice cluster. As you can see here, my entry was below the 43 cluster, which was the strongest negative delta we had seen at that time, right? I could have tried a better entry, actually retesting the PPPOC, but I was less greedy, so to speak, on this entry. So this trade went pretty well. I think this is another trade where this yellow box was I believe a 1 hour area of supply, PD, POC, and I'm not sure what that orange line is here, to be fair. But already we have to, oh, is it that? No, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, that's a golden zone Fibonacci. This orange line and this green line is a golden zone Fibonacci, golden pocket. As you can see, we closed above that for a few candles, but then had this sharp correction here with some strong sellers, and we closed below PDPOC, yellow box area of supply, golden pocket and low volume node. So you see some different levels here again with the low volume node, which I like to draw on my charts. We have our momentum wave. Let's look now, and we close below all of these levels. I've said that. And also you can see also we were closing below our EMAs, the 9 and the 20 EMA as it was crossing. So very high probability trade, very high confluence. Now what happens as we're going up there? So delta positive, they're not failing at this point, but look, so you're seeing high numbers, 69, 65, 47, 90 right there at the high. I love when I don't get them all the time, these very high numbers at the high, but this was a very nice indication here. You can see that the delta, 114, 108 here, they were efficient, but 114, 127 positive delta here at the high with such high positive delta within this context, it should be breaking through to the upside. But all we get is a little bit of follow through, but then a failure here from these very strong buyers. We're starting to see some selling interest, even though they're failing at that time. We're starting to see the sellers step in. And finally here on this candle, which breaks below all of these buyers here. Now we also have these 74, 66, 58. They're all underwater here. They are all below where price currently was, minus 149 negative delta. So we're getting that spike in negative delta that we need. I definitely could not enter from the low of this candle. I prefer to miss the trade if it doesn't retrace. But again, where is my limit order? At the retest of these levels here of the golden zone here, and at this at this cluster here, this area of supply, you could say. Not right into it, again, is always a little bit below it, because oftentimes the wick doesn't quite hit that area of supply. You've seen this in a lot of my previous trades, right? The entry is always below that strong area of supply within that candle, okay? I keep on walking you through examples, guys. I think we're done soon. But I think, at least for me, if I'm watching these kind of video, I want to have as many examples as possible, because then my brain is really digesting and understanding and looking at different types of levels and different types of contexts. So I'm just going to keep on giving you examples. I don't care if the video's a little long. It really matters, at least for me, to share as many examples as possible. So again, we have an area of supply here. We have a PPVAL and a daily open. I hope, by the way, my camera is not hiding these levels. No, we're good. Okay, cool. My little, my little box up there with my dumb face in it. Okay, so previous day value area high, daily open, again, another level that we hadn't seen in this video, but we had a retest of the daily open here. Our momentum waves are above the zero line, obviously, and in this case, we're getting a divergence. Guys, if you want to wait for your setups to maybe have less setups, but if you want to wait to see divergences on this momentum, the squeeze momentum indicator, you can do that. You'll have less setups, but again, even higher probability, okay? And it's way better than the RSI, guys. I don't know if I said that earlier, but the RSI and the MACD are going to give you more waves and way more signals, right? But you want to have less signals and higher probability signals, and that's what I love about this, this momentum indicator. It gives you much lesser waves, less noise, but just higher probability setups, okay? So we've discussed our confluence here. Let's look at our confirmations. So plus 82, plus 72, 63, 51, 40, 54. Strong sellers here. You don't see that so often, actually. Some very strong sellers right at the top, but they announced clearly, someone said, I'm selling this, I'm interested in this level. What do we see on the delta? Only minus 38 here. I don't know if you can see this. It's a bit small. Minus 38, minus 17. Actually, on this trade, okay, that's interesting, because the delta itself, normally I would like to see here in this candle or this candle, maybe like minus 70 at least, something like that. We never really had that. So maybe it's a bit more risky, but what we did have is these very strong sellers here. And we had these very strong buyers failing here, okay? So positive delta, again, failing, being inefficient. I don't show you the checklist anymore. I think it's pretty clear, right? But let's have a look again, right? Confluence, obviously, aggression. So aggressive buyers failing in the case of this example, aggressive sellers, momentum wave, okay? I mean, I think that's pretty clear by now, but I just wanted to show you the checklist again. And again, the entry was kind of, I didn't have a clear order block here, like a clear cluster with minus 50, 60. Actually, when I entered, a little bit risky because, these guys were a little bit underwater here, but I just really liked what I was seeing here. And I liked my confluence, supply, PP val, daily open. That was good enough to me. And these strong sellers here, I think they knew something that maybe I didn't know, but I wanted to follow these guys, okay? Is that the last example? No, I think we have a couple more, guys. Here, daily open, HVN, VAL, okay, and a golden zone Fibonacci here from this high to, I don't know, some other low, I'm guessing. Maybe this high to this low, maybe. But here, yeah, I think, yeah, from this high to this low, Fibonacci retracement. As you can see, I took a loss here, actually, interesting. And this is why, it's because, look, at this moment, the wave was hardly above the zero line. Oh, that's great that I can share this too. Right? At this moment here, the wave was hardly above the zero line, okay? So I re-entered here and had some more confluence. Had some better confirmation, let's see. So here I had some good confluence. Decent absorption, right? But not huge in hindsight. That's good that I'm sharing that. That's just not a very good setup. And as you can see, not that many buyers being absorbed up here, but if you add them up, it's pretty good. It's pretty decent. Decent sellers here and decent buyers here, 50, 54 if you add up to all of this. It's not bad, but the momentum wave actually had just crossed into the green. So it was too early to be looking. Just not enough confirmation, and as you can see, no negative delta. We're getting some delta divergences, meaning we got buyers, positive delta, but negative candles. Decent setup, but it's certainly not A+. Now here, not huge buyers, to be fair, 41, 25, 16, 31, 21. But we're really retesting these levels here. We have this strong candle, and look at the delta. Again, not a perfect setup but it's the first time we're seeing some true negative delta candles in a row, right? Here it was all buyers with a couple negative deltas. Here we're seeing, that's a clue for me. Maybe you shouldn't take that trade if you're less experienced. I wouldn't recommend that. But I'm seeing now, even though it's not strong negative delta, it's more negative delta candles in a row for the first time in a long time, okay, if that makes sense. And a little bit risky, as you can see, we had 96 buyers here, which were kind of pushing price to the upside. So definitely a risky trade, not a great example, but it's interesting for you to see maybe an example of not a perfect setup as well. I would not recommend taking it for sure. Just the confluence was good. I just like the trade, but risky. Okay, I think that's the last one, guys. I don't care. The video is going to be long. I don't care if you're bored. Maybe you just stopped watching. If you're still watching, well, good for you, because your brain is going to thank you for this, because you're creating that pattern memory. You're really digesting, assimilating all of this information. That's the way I like to do things. I want to get as much information as I can. Previous day high, order block, right? Area of supply. Not huge confluence, but good enough, it seems. And let's look at the order flow. Yeah, plus 80, 63, 46, 43, big numbers, 61, 63. Starting to see some sellers, minus 71, minus 50. And then what happens, we start closing below. I was more patient on this trade. I think my entry got triggered here, not here, right? Obviously, somewhere around here. And looking at the delta, so 571, look at this, is interesting. 571 positive delta. This is at London Open, by the way. 571 positive delta on this candle, no follow through. After a positive delta like this, you need to see some follow through. Like price should be going up from here. And it starts ranging. It starts truly showing some failure, and it's starting here to show some exhaustion. There's no more buyers interested. The delta goes down to 105. It's a first interesting clue. I would definitely not short that at that time, as I did not. 105 minus 1, and then you see some positive delta, but just getting weaker, 73, 29, 5. Negative delta, starting to see some red delta in a row, minus 80, minus 86. You could have entered from there, actually. I could have entered from there. I was a bit too patient, or maybe I can't recall quite what happened, but that's fine. A bit too patient. I wasn't too patient because it ended up being a win, but it could have definitely gone without me, this trade. It could have gone down from there for sure. Looking at this negative delta, minus 80, minus 86, after all of that failure from the buyers. And then I decided that I was interested from that point here. The candles were closing below all of these buyers once again. More failure, more exhaustion from the buyers in that area. Oh, and we're closing below the 77 positive delta here again. It's just extra confirmation. I got a sell order here after this candle closed, I believe. It didn't get filled until a few candles later, okay? Okay, guys, I think we're done here. I think we're done with these examples. You can see we have a divergence, we have a supply zone, we have a Fibonacci, and we have buyers failing. Not very strong, to be fair. And this is not even a great setup. Okay, that's it for the video, guys. As usual, if you have, let's finish on the checklist here once again. If you have some questions, I'm very happy to answer them in the comments below. I can make other videos like this if you want. Just let me know if you find this useful, if you found my previous videos useful, if you have some criticism to make. I'm open to criticism as well, no problem at all. And if you want me to clear some stuff, I'm very happy to do that. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this video was useful to you guys.